While Europe burned in 2 world wars, one country stayed untouched. No invasions, no bombs raining from the sky, no collapse. That country was Switzerland. And it wasn't just luck. If that shocks you, stick with me, because the real reason is way deeper. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So let's dive in and try to find out what we can find out. Switzerland's neutrality wasn't born yesterday. Origins and the core reason. Think of Europe in the early 1800s. Empires collapsed. Borders were redrawn. After Napoleon fell, the great powers met at the Congress of Vienna. They did something odd. They declared Switzerland permanently neutral. That's the legal seed. But laws alone don't keep a country safe. So what else? First, geography. Switzerland is mostly mountains. The Alps are not just scenic, they are a natural fortress. Armies slow down in that terrain. Supply lines break. Invading an alpine country is expensive and painful. Second, military culture. Switzerland didn't just say, "We're neutral," and hope for the best. It built a defensive system and made nearly every man part of it. For centuries, Swiss men trained as soldiers. Today, conscription means a well-trained militia, ready to defend the country. That raises the cost of invasion dramatically. Third, the reduit. The Alpine fallback. In the 20th century, Switzerland planned to retreat into the mountains and defend a network of fortresses and tunnels. During World War II, that idea was real and serious. If an enemy captured the lowlands, the Swiss could fight from the high ground for a long time. That kind of stubborn defense makes potential invaders think twice. Fourth, diplomacy and neutrality as policy. Switzerland used neutrality not to hide, but to host. Geneva became home to peace organizations, humanitarian law, and the Red Cross. That gave Switzerland soft power, influence without guns. Being a hub for negotiation and humanitarian work made attacking Switzerland politically messy. Fifth, economic interdependence. Swiss banks, trade, and finance became important to many countries. Over time, attacking Switzerland meant disrupting money, trade, and multinational ties. That's another deterrent. Put these together and you get the core reason. Switzerland's neutrality is effective because it's a whole system: legal recognition, defensive readiness, forbidding geography, diplomatic value, and economic ties. It's not only one trick, it's many small things working like gears. How this worked in practice, stories, and turning points. Let's look at the evidence. During both world wars, Switzerland never declared war on others. They stayed out of direct fighting, but neutrality was tested. In World War II, Switzerland was surrounded by Axis powers. The Swiss economy traded with Germany. That choice was controversial, but at the same time, Switzerland mobilized its army, prepared its reduit, and made clear that occupation would be costly. The combination of limited trade, staunch defense, and international visibility helped keep the country from being invaded. After the wars, Switzerland kept evolving the strategy. In the Cold War, the idea of an Alpine refuge persisted. The Swiss refined civil defense, shelters, and militia readiness. They balanced secrecy, banking, with international services, diplomacy, humanitarian work. A big shift came in 2002. Switzerland joined the United Nations. That surprised many people. Neutrality didn't mean isolation. Instead, the Swiss sought to be engaged as a neutral actor. Today, they mediate talks, host treaties, and offer good offices without sending troops to fight. That ability to be useful internationally makes neutrality politically valuable to others. Finally, Swiss public opinion and direct democracy shape policy. The Swiss vote on big foreign policy questions. Neutrality is reinforced because the population often supports it. That democratic buy-in makes the policy durable. The other reasons people sometimes forget. There are smaller but important reasons that stack up. Military deterrence through decentralization. Swiss weapons, ammunition, and trained personnel were widely distributed. Hitting command centers would be hard. Civil defense and shelters. Switzerland has one of the highest numbers of shelters per capita in the world. That's not romantic. It's practical deterrence. Culture and identity. Neutrality became a Swiss identity. Politicians, historians, and citizens internalized it. That cultural factor reduces domestic support for war. Reputation. Switzerland's role in diplomacy and finance created international relationships that punish aggression more subtly. Sanctions, loss of banking access, diplomatic isolation. All of these add friction to the idea of attacking Switzerland. The cost-benefit equation tilts in favor of staying out. Solutions and modern challenges. What people try to do to keep neutrality useful and how Switzerland adapts. If you wanted to keep a country out of war today, what would you copy from Switzerland? Here are practical solutions or measures other countries might try, and what Switzerland actually does to keep them relevant. Legal recognition and international agreements. Make neutrality a recognized policy. Switzerland got this recognition in 1815. That legal backing matters. It builds expectations among big powers. Mix defensive readiness with asymmetric thinking. Have an army that raises the cost of occupation. Switzerland uses a militia model. Trained citizens, rapid mobilization. It's cheaper than a huge standing army, but still credible. Make your terrain a strategic asset. If you have natural defenses, integrate them into planning. Switzerland turned mountains into a defensive network. If you don't have mountains, build redundancy in infrastructure, dispersed command, and civilian shelters. Become indispensable politically and economically. Host negotiations, build humanitarian institutions, and develop sectors others rely on. Switzerland traded access for security and used soft power as a shield. Keep public buy-in. Use democratic tools to lock in neutrality. If the public supports non-intervention, leaders are less likely to change course. Adapt neutrality to modern threats. Switzerland now faces cyber risks, financial warfare, and political pressure. It's updating laws, cooperating on sanctions when necessary, and balancing neutrality with international obligations. For example, Swiss banking secrecy has weakened under global pressure, an adaptation to remain integrated but defensible. These are concrete steps. They aren't magic. They are policy choices that create hurdles for would-be aggressors and incentives for peaceful engagement. So what's the short answer? Switzerland doesn't go to war because it turned neutrality into a full strategy. It combined law, geography, citizen soldiers, defensive planning, and global usefulness. All of it together makes invasion expensive and messy. Is it perfect? No. Switzerland faces new pressures, cyber threats, trade conflicts, and global politics. But it keeps adapting. That's the real secret, neutrality that evolves. If you enjoyed this mini deep dive, subscribe and tap the next video on the screen. You'll like it, I promise. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.